So that raises the question, does information have to be digital? Of course not. We've proved and demonstrated over thousands of years that we can create and maintain the built environment without digital information. That isn't the issue. The core issue is the problem of scale. We simply can't meet the global demand for built infrastructure through the traditional process. Many around the world still lack the basic necessities that others have taken for granted. Even in a first world country like Ireland, our industry can't deliver sufficient housing, education facilities, healthcare, and other infrastructure needed for our society. Buildings are too expensive, too slow, it's too dangerous and wasteful, and it's having an enormous impact on the environment. The built environment is responsible for almost 40% of the global energy consumption and greenhouse gas emission. Regarding waste alone, over 30% and as much as 50% of the cost of construction is waste. Up to 30% of construction is rework. Labor in construction is only operating at 40 to 60% of potential efficiency. Accidents on site account for 3 to 6% of the total project cost. At least 10% and as much as 30% of materials delivered to site are wasted. Imagine that. The cost, the time, the effort, and the environmental impact of extracting raw materials to produce these products, transporting them around the world to construction sites, handling them on site, and then transporting them away to site to ultimately be put into landfill or recycling, to go through the whole process again. It's bizarre. The problem of scale is a real challenge. We have to do more for less. We can't simply do less, there's too much demand. We can't simply do more using the same resources and processes that we've previously used, because that just escalates the problem. We have to learn to do more for less. That isn't a simple thing. But if information is at the core of how we operate and collaborate and communicate, then we need to carefully look at the way we work with information. The reality is that even though we've been using computers and devices and digital tools since the 1990s, we still default to print everything back to paper or static PDFs to follow outdated practices. This image is a safety file or building logbook, the information provided on a real building in Dublin. Despite many people putting many hours of work, most likely using computers to produce this information, the end product is printed and stored in boxes of files, which have little value. The problem of analog information is that it's difficult to process, it's slow and cumbersome to use, it's abstract and difficult to understand, and that results in human error. It creates issues with storage, distribution, and wider access to information. There are challenges to indexing and retrieval of information when it's needed, and in this static format, it's difficult to update. Digital tools and processes help to solve many of these issues, vastly improving communications, productivity, outcomes, and performance. Does that mean machines are going to replace human beings in the future? Certainly, when it comes to performing tedious, mundane, laborious, and repetitive tasks, machines are much better suited to the job. They will work non-stop at maximum efficiency for as long as they can, without tea breaks or smoke breaks, holidays or sick days. And if your job only involves performing tedious, mundane, laborious, and repetitive tasks, then yes, a machine is probably going to replace you. But there are many things that humans are much better suited to do, like critical thinking, imagination, collaboration, making value judgments, etc. If we're going to achieve scale in our industry, it's not about replacing one thing for the other. It's about using both humans and machines to their best of abilities to do more for less.